I'm always delighted to be with Saul News. This has been such a leader in the conservative movement and the Republican Party.
Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for February 7th, 2025. Just the News reports, Maryland District Judge pauses Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. A federal judge in Maryland on Wednesday issued a temporary nationwide hold on President Donald Trump's order to restrict birthright citizenship until the case makes its way through the courts. The injunction will last until a final ruling can be reached, unless the Trump administration can successfully appeal the decision. Attorney Eric Hamilton, who represented the federal government, argued that the 14th Amendment's birthright citizenship provision applies to persons who are subject to the jurisdiction and owe allegiance to the United States, and does not apply to the children of non-citizens. The executive order, titled Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship, is the subject of 7 separate lawsuits. If allowed to go into effect, the order will forbid federal agencies from issuing or accepting any documents recognizing citizenship of children whose parents are not citizens born after February 19th. The Federalist reports, Americans overwhelmingly support voter ID laws Dems want to squash. A new Rasmussen Reports poll finds that more than 3/4 of likely U.S. voters, 77%, say requiring a photo ID to vote is a reasonable way to protect the integrity of elections. Just 17% think such measures are unreasonable. The latest numbers are up from 74% support in 2021, according to the pollster. The survey of 1,229 respondents conducted January 26th to 28th also found 60% believe voter ID laws do not discriminate against some voters, with 30% saying they do. It's the latest poll showing widespread support for voter ID laws. A Pew Research Center national poll conducted a year ago found bipartisan backing of the election integrity guardrails, with 69% of Democrats in favor and nearly universal support, 95% among Republicans. And finally, the Daily Signal reports, senators introduced bill to protect Supreme Court justices. After an escalation in political violence over the past several years, including protesters at the homes of Supreme Court justices, several United States senators introduced legislation on Wednesday to increase the penalties for those that threaten federal judges, including Supreme Court justices. The bill would increase the maximum penalty for violating 18 U.S.C. Section 1507 from 1 year to 5 years. The legislation comes as the justices and other federal officials are increasingly under threat. In June 2022, a man traveled to Justice Brett Kavanaugh's neighborhood to assassinate the conservative justice. He was only deterred because his sister was able to persuade him to turn himself in instead. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for February 7th, 2025. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.